the first stage of improvement in food resources? Improvement in the variety of crops, that's right. How can we improve the variety of crops used in agriculture? There are some crops which are resistant to diseases, while some give higher yields. How do we select these particular strains of crops and develop a perfect variety? The answer is hybridization. This process enables us to combine the desirable characteristics of different varieties of crops. Which are the different ways of combining crops? One could be the combination of genetically dissimilar crops. And what could be another method of introducing desirable qualities? Introducing a gene to a plant can also give a new variety of plants. When we want to produce a new variety of plants by crossing, we can employ 3 different types of methods. Can you take a guess at what they could be? One way, as you learnt, is to cross 2 different varieties of plants. We call it intervarietal crossing. Second, could it be the crossing between 2 plants of different species? Yes, we call it interspecific crossing. What about the third type? The third type of crossing is between different genera. It's called as intergeneric crossing of plants. What will such crossing give us? We will get genetically modified plants, and these plants will have a better chance of survival. They will also be able to produce a better yield. But we must ensure that the seeds produced after modification can survive in the existing environment. What environment are we talking about? Well, the germination of seeds and the crop yield depends on many factors. Can you name them? Weather, soil, water too, right? Yes, these 3 are important factors on which the growth of crops depends on. Modification of plant variety helps to withstand adverse conditions like drought, floods, and high salinity of the soil. Plants that are resistant to pests and diseases can transfer this strength to other plants. Do you know for what factors crop variety improvement is done? Mainly for higher yield. As we studied, the land we have for crop growth is limited. We must therefore increase the amount of yield on the same land with better yielding crops. We then say that the yield of that particular crop per hectare has increased. In simple words, an area which produced 10 sacks of wheat grains would now produce 20 in the very same area. What could be the second area of improvement? Could it be the improvement of a specific quality in the crop? For example, some types of wheat bake better while some pulses have a better protein quality. Have you ever observed that some fruits have a longer shelf life over some others? Well, this is the outcome of improvement in crop quality. What can be the next threat to crops? Biotic or living components as well as abiotic or non-living things can harm crops. Can you name a few biotic factors that affect crop production? Insects? Yes, and frost, salinity, and heat are examples of abiotic factors that can affect crop production. There may be varieties that are resistant to these factors. We must aim at creating many more strong varieties like these, shouldn't we? Now that we know a few areas where we can improve on crop yield, can you think of some more? How about the duration of maturity? Have you heard the farmers say that they have 2 rounds of crop harvest or that they will till the land for the second round of crops? When can we have a second round of crops? If the time taken by crops to grow and mature is relatively shorter, then we can have many rounds of a crop in the same land. This will ensure greater quantity of yield in the same area. Also, if all crops are ready to be harvested at the same time, it will reduce the loss due to uneven maturity. It is humanly impossible to only select the crops that have matured and sort the ones out which haven't while harvesting. Seems like a time-consuming and cumbersome process. What else can you think of when we talk about crop improvement? Adaptability. Yes, a crop should have a wide range of adaptability. There should be many areas where the same crop can be grown under different weather conditions. And the last and the most important would be the agronomic characteristics in crops. Crops like leafy vegetables or fodder crops need to have a lot of branching and should be tall. This fullness gives us quantity and volume, which are desirable characteristics of fodder crops of leafy vegetables. On the other hand, cereals or some pulses do not require much height or branching. Those parts are just accessories and will be eventually discarded. Such plants should be short in height and less wholesome in leaves. What would this ensure? Logically, it would mean more nutrition for the whole plant. The leaves which are not useful will take up less nutrition and instead provide more nutrition to the part which is useful. In this case, they are the cereals and pulses. With these, we have pretty much covered the major areas which can be improved in different varieties of crops. In our next video, let us look at how we can improve crop production.